Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel again. I'm TGS, and while I haven't really prepared anything special to say, I was at work today and I just realized at one point, well, it's 9th of the 9th of 2024, and that pretty much means that this day, 25 years ago, we had our Dreamcast, and we got ourselves the Sega Dreamcast. So, happy birthday, Dreamcast! Today it blows its 25th candle, and I could just sit here and talk about how this is an amazing system and how this system has gathered such a cult following after its untimely demise. Because, let's be honest, it was cut down before its prime, way before its prime. We never really got to see what the Dreamcast was capable of giving us, and I'm pretty sure it was a lot that this system could give us. Well, I could talk about all these things, but it wouldn't really matter because all these things have been said before. Other people have said those things before, and yeah, like I said, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that even me, a gamer that, I'm kind of older than this generation. My bread and butter is 8-bit and 16-bit. Even I have to say, this console is pretty nostalgic. Yeah, right. I was like 16 pushing 17 when this thing came out, 17 years old when I first saw it, and wow, it left an everlasting impression. I remember walking in to Game Buster, a video game store that here in Corinthos was a thing back in the day, was a big thing, a video game store. And the dude that actually owned the place had imported the Japanese console straight from Japan in Corinthos, baby. And I walk into the video game store, and there's this guy holding this enormous but very light controller playing the exact game that is on there right now. It's Godzilla Generations. I know the camera doesn't really focus at all, but yeah, this is the exact game that this guy was playing. And me being a huge Godzilla fan had more than one reasons to fall for the Sega Dreamcast, because I had never seen anything like it. As a big fan, I would recognize this Godzilla looks exactly like in the movies, and I would recognize that the game itself would pretty much be trying to replicate what Godzilla did in the movies. For me, it was like a dream, something that I would dream about as a kid, for, to be a game in existence that would do just that. You as Godzilla breaking down buildings, destroying buildings. And what a beautiful irony it is that that dream of mine became a reality on a system that part of its name was the word dream. So yeah, but the Dreamcast didn't give us just that mediocre Godzilla game, because that's what it is at best. It gave us plenty of arcade classics. We had Sega's very own House of the Dead. We had Marvel vs. Capcom, a ton of different games. And, the arcades back in the day were still, when the Dreamcast was around, they were still big. They weren't, they didn't have the same amount of popularity they had in the early to mid 90s, that's for sure. But they were still going strong. So we had a system that had some really amazing arcade ports. And don't get me started on these other games that the Sega Dreamcast had, like the big Capcom horror games like Resident Evil. And having said that, just give me a moment, just one moment. Right now, I have Resident Evil on there. I just hope you can hear the music because the camera doesn't focus that nicely. And Resident Evil 2, Dino Crisis, there were games that were a blast to play on the Dreamcast. Not only they were on par with the PC version, but, for me, they were even better than PC. Why? Because of this freaking controller and that little thing in there called VMU. I just hope it can show. Yeah, it does. You can see that it says grenade launcher, how many bullets I have left, which is infinite because I can cheat in this. And down there it says fine, which is my status. Exactly. I could just see what kind of weapon I'm using, how many bullets I have left, and that I'm fine. What kind of weapon I'm using right now without pressing the actual menu button, which is freaking amazing. And I know you'll be like, come on, these are freaking details. But no, hear me out. Those are the details that actually make the difference. Those are the details that give you the better experience. And the Dreamcast could actually give you that. Hell yeah, this system was made with by Sega with utmost love and care. Like, look at it. It has like 4 ports. I only know of other 2 consoles from around that time that could do that. One being the Nintendo 64 and the other one the Nintendo GameCube. And this one did it as well. It has a version of Windows in there, and no wonder people still make games for that system. You know, homebrews and all sorts of crazy stuff. I even have a fan-made trilogy, not 1, not 2, but 3 trilogy of fan-made Splatterhouse games. That's insane. So the Sega Dreamcast was an amazing piece of hardware. I could talk for hours and hours about that system, and still I wouldn't make it justice. So yeah, it had an untimely end, but at the end of the day, people still love it. People still remember it, and it shows. If I would be forced to say something bad about the Dreamcast, that would probably be the fact that it's a hassle to collect original games for it these days. Some outrageous prices are demanded, and it's definitely not worth it, since most of these systems could run backup CDs without the need of any modding whatsoever. But yeah, me being me, I would normally advise against something like that. On the other hand, it's kind of stupid for someone to charge you for a game that's 22 years old. It's like $300. So I guess I'll leave that to you. And while the Sega Dreamcast totally deserves a full-fledged like 5-hour video, in my opinion, I feel like I've dragged this like far too long. So happy birthday, Sega Dreamcast, and thanks for all the memories. If you liked what you've seen, press like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And I'll see you next time. So have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.